Solutions. I am your hostess with the mostest, Rhonda M Lawson. That is Dr. Rhonda M Lawson, author of 5 novels, a contributor to 10 anthologies. I am the host of Horizons. I am the owner of Meet the World Image Solutions.
Can't hear anything.
And I have an author on the line who is very much ready to roll because she is jumping in there. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So we have Miss Renee Spivey with us here tonight, and she's a debut author. One of the things that we pride ourselves on doing with Meet the World Image Solutions and with Horizons is helping to promote new authors, debut authors, and just great books in general. And tonight is no exception.
I'm sorry, I can't hear anything.
Tonight is no exception. So tonight we have Miss Renee Spivey, who is coming on the line right now, and I think she might be having a little bit of a sound issue, so we're going to let our producer jump in on that and take care of that. Can you hear us, Renee?
I can hear you now.
Awesome. Okay, so like I said, we have this author who is very excited to be here because she was jumping right on in there, so we're just going to jump right into that interview. So how you doing tonight, Renee?
I'm sorry, I'm good. How are you? I thought something was going wrong on my end.
No, you're fine. You're fine. All right, so
this act right.
Do me a favor, scoot over a little bit so we can get you into your screen.
Okay.
Oh,
Lord. Is that better?
Okay, I think you're frozen. Oh, wait, there she is. I see you now.
Okay, hey. You see me?
I see you. So how you doing tonight, Renee?
We're going to get this together.
Yes, we will.
I'm doing good. I'm doing.
So, are you ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll.
Awesome. So, talk to me. Tell me all about this book, because I was reading up on it, and it sounds like something that may almost read a little bit like a diary for somebody who may be going through some issues with self, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a good description of it. It's a story about part of my life and what I went through, and how I got to the point where I'm at now, to where I published the book, and I've got my own business. And
wonderful.
For those, I'm sorry, I get a little emotional because this is my testimony. For the longest time, I was ashamed of who I was and what I had been through. And I didn't see it as a testimony until one day somebody said, well, Renee, you have a story to tell. What you've been through could help other people. You never know. I mean, even if it just helps one person, you never know. And my story is that I've been to prison. I went to prison, it's been ago now. I've been home for the past 20 years, and I was always ashamed of that. I was young when I committed my crime. I was very gullible, and I let someone convince me to do some things I knew I had no business doing, because that's not the way my mother raised me.
Yes.
But to fit in and be accepted, I did things I knew I shouldn't have done, and I was ashamed of that, because we live in a society that when they hear you've been to prison or you've done this or you've done that, they're very judgmental, and they don't want to let you forget your past. So if you didn't know that about me, I definitely wasn't going to volunteer the information. But then people kept telling me, hey, Renee, that's powerful. That's powerful. People need to know that. And so that's where the book came from.
Well, and it takes a lot of bravery to not only just share your story, but to share a story like that. I mean, I know you said that you'd had a book in you for a while, but what gave you the courage to tell this story?
Husband encouraging me, my friends encouraging me, and I just put it out there one day, and one day I talked about it at church a little bit, and even my church members didn't know that about me. And then one day, my former minister, he said, well, if God has called you to do something, he's going to equip you with everything that you need. And I've never written a book before. This was my first time writing anything. I mean, I've written blog posts, and I mean, I've done that over the years, but to sit down and actually write a book, I didn't think I can do it. I didn't have any confidence in myself. Even still to this day, I still have a little, like, should I really have done this? What do people think? And I've been trying to avoid Amazon and other places because I don't want I don't want to read anything negative.
Right.
But I just stepped out on faith. I said, hey, and like my mentor, who is national best-selling author, Jacqueline Thomas, told me, she said, even if you don't sell any books or just a few books, she said, if your story touches somebody,
yes,
you've done your job. And that's what encouraged me to keep going.
And that's the important part, because many times as authors, we get caught up in trying to make the story juicy, trying to dress the story up, thinking that that's what's going to make people want to read. But often readers want to read something that sounds personal, something that they can relate to. So I think that, as I mentioned before, it was very brave of you to tell your story and to basically undress yourself in front of people who don't know you. And there may be some people who are going to judge you, but there are going to be some people who are going to be touched by your story and maybe even inspired by it.
Right. And that's what I did. I just told the God honest, ugly truth. I told my part in the story. I told what the other people, the stuff that they did. I didn't leave anything unsaid. Because I wasn't trying to make myself look good or anybody else to look bad. I just wanted people to realize, hey, no matter what you've been through, there's always hope. There's always somebody out there that's going to be willing to give you a chance. It may take a minute to find them, but there's always somebody. And if nobody wants to give you a chance, then make the chance yourself. Kick down that wall, kick down that door. I didn't go to college when I first got out of high school. But now I have a college degree. I have an associate's degree, and I'm working towards my bachelor's. I have like 1 year left on my bachelor's degree, and I stopped to go after my mother passed, and I just haven't gone back yet because I'm still in the grieving process, and I just don't think I can concentrate or apply myself fully at school. And then this book was calling me, so I've let that go. But I started my own business with doing graphic and web design and author promotion. Author promotion is really where and it just kind of developed into that. But I said, if I may fall 100 times, but I keep getting up.
Amen. And that's the way.
And that's the whole. Right.
And I was very surprised to find out that this was your debut novel, because your name has kind of been around the literary industry for a bit. Maybe because of the author promotion that you've been doing, or it could be because of the graphic design. But I know I had heard your name prior to this book.
Probably because of the author promotion. I used to have a website called All the Buzz Reviews, and I would interview as many authors that would take time out of their business to talk to me. It was just me. It started me wanting to talk to these authors whose books I've read over the years, and to come to find out that they're just as friendly as they can be. I thought, like movie star status. I'm like, oh, they don't want to talk to you. You're a little nobody from a little small town in Texas. But they were all so very friendly, and I don't think anybody ever told me no when I asked to interview them. They were grateful for the novel, and I really, really enjoyed doing that.
That's awesome. So, I think that this is our time now to repay you. You've helped to promote so many authors, and now it's our time. You're the author, and it's our time to help promote you, and I think that that's an awesome thing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I've had some author friends share information about the book when it first came out, and everybody's been real encouraging. Like all of my clients, they've all been real encouraging. Say, "Oh, well, when's the next book coming out?" And congratulations. And it just made me feel good that somebody is behind me this time.
Yes. And that's wonderful. And I really do congratulate you on that, because that's a big deal. Now, I do want to ask you, getting back to the book a little bit, now that the book is out, how do you feel? You've told this story. You've told people, you've basically undressed yourself in front of people you don't know. You've told a very personal story. How do you feel now?
The weight has been lifted off of me, but then again, on the other hand, the devil, he's always busy. He's in my ear saying, well, somebody is gonna not appreciate you telling this story. Nope. Who are you to think that you can write this book and say
that's gonna happen?
All things back yeah. Who am I not to share this? This happened to me. Why can't I tell this story?
Yes.
I never set out to hurt anybody. It was more cleansing for me than it was anything. And there's one person in particular that I hope reads the story, and I don't want to call any names, but I'll say it. I want my son to read the story, because if you read the book, I haven't my son since he was a year old, and he just turned 26. And he doesn't fully know everything that happened to me, and I want him to read the story, and hopefully we establish some type of relationship. I know I can never be his mother, an actual mother figure in his life, because I've missed so much of his life. But if we could just have some type of relationship, I just want to hug him one time and just see him and tell him, say, "Hey, Renee, I'm sorry, I went through this, and I forgive you." And that's all I want to hear. And I think my life would just be complete.
Wow.
Not that anything's lacking now, but I think there's a hole in my heart, and that's the only thing that can fill that hole in my heart.
Wow. Have you had a chance to, you say you're not sure if he's read the book, but I'm sure that when he reads the book, he's going to reach out. Are you ready for that conversation?
I'm ready. I've prayed about it, and I believe I'm ready. And I know he's going to have some tough questions that may trigger a memory that I haven't thought about in 26 years. But I'm ready. I'm not going to hide anything.
That is beautiful. I will be praying that conversation happens.
Thank you.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, I'd like you to talk a little bit more about the book, how it's written, and where people can find the book. So why don't we go ahead and take a quick little 2-minute break? Okay. So don't you guys go anywhere. This is a wonderful interview with debut author, Renee Spivey. She is telling her story, and you need to be here to hear the rest of it. So we'll be right back.
Member of Bedside Baptist? Well, now you can join Bethesda House of Prayer every Sunday for our live broadcast. It starts at approximately 9:45 every Sunday morning. Just go to NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com and click play. We can't wait for you to join us from your home. And don't forget, if you want to join us live and in person, Service starts for 9 a.m. and we are located at 7601 West Lake Expressway, Marrero, Louisiana 70072, Suite C.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on a golf course that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Join in on Mondays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. for Break with Dr. Patricia Fry. There are no limitations or boundaries. We talk about life, and guess what? That includes you. So download the app today, New Orleans Talk Network, and subscribe on YouTube. That's every Monday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. New Orleans Talk Network, Breaking the Silence with Dr. Patricia Fry.
What is New Orleans Talk Network? It's today's hottest topics with an added flair. You get ready because the conversation will be hot and better yet, mobile. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app available on Android, iPhone, iPad, and you can listen to us on the web at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com. Write down our talk line at 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255. Interactive and worldwide. That's what we are. Join in on the real conversation and tell a friend about the New Orleans Talk Network.
Back. We are talking with debut author Renee Spivey, and she's talking about her book, Once Broken. So there she is right there, beautiful lady telling a very beautiful story. And I have noticed something about Horizons that we have been, like about a few weeks ago, we interviewed author Robert Graham, actually in prison at the time he told his story. And from prison, he's written some books. And then I've had actually other authors who are still incarcerated who would like to tell their stories as well. And they will be coming on the show in the next couple of months. And then today we have our first woman who's telling her story of when she was imprisoned. And so I'm seeing that what's been going on with Horizons is something special because we're giving people a chance to tell their stories in an unconventional way. We don't see this very often. So I am really honored to be able to be that outlet for people to tell these types of stories. And so with that said, I want to bring Renee back into the conversation, and maybe she can talk a little bit more about Once Broken. How did you decide to write this story? Is this story written as a biography, so to speak? Is it written more as a self-help book? How would you say your book is written?
Little bit of both. It's more biography, but I think people can take away it will. I mean, just because you've been to prison doesn't necessarily make you a bad person. Mm-hmm. We all do things. We all make bad choices in situations. Some of us manage to escape that, but you in an actual jail cell, but you may be in a prison of your own making and can never enjoy life, or you're always looking over your shoulder wondering when the other when the other shoe is gonna drop. So I really appreciate everybody else giving me this opportunity to spread the word a little about my book. But like I said, there's some, not only in the book is there my story, but there's devotionals that I was writing it's those are really personal as well. It talks about how I struggle with my faith at times, and with depression and all of this kind of stuff. All and a lot of it's all tied into from when I went to prison, and all the abuse that I suffered, because I was a victim of not only physical abuse but verbal and mental abuse as well. And so I just want people to see, hey, I mean, if whatever they get from it, I mean, if they get something from it, then that's all that matters to me. So God gave me the words, and I just put them down on paper. I've always questioned why I had to go through what I went through. I mean, I was a good girl. I never got in any trouble at school. But I ended up going to prison, a first time offender. I'm like, what's going on? But now that I've been through it, I realized it made me a stronger person. It made me a better person. So I don't look at it as a punishment anymore. I'll tell anybody, I said, while it was the worst time of my life, it was also the best time of my life.
That's very interesting, because
it shaped me the person I am now.
Exactly, and that was actually the point I was going to make. I mean, when sometimes when people go through a situation like that, it can probably harden them, where they want to blame the system and they think that everything has gone wrong. And you may have felt that way at one time, but you took this time to do some self-reflection, and I think, as you mentioned, it made you a stronger person on the other side of it.
Right. I was a little bitter, but I knew that I was the one that put myself in that situation. Mm-hmm. I didn't try to blame the man or anybody like that. I was like, well, you know what, Renee? If you knew better, when you know better, you do better. Yes. And I knew better, but I just didn't. I didn't do the right thing because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be accepted. I've always been a loner, and I'm a people pleaser to a fault, and that's why I did it, because I wanted to fit in. But I don't have that desire anymore. So yes, I mean, I'm learning. Hey, I'm enough.
Exactly, you are enough, and I'm glad you said that. I think that's the overall message of this entire segment, is that you are enough. You don't have to do things just to be a part of the crowd or to make people happy, especially if it's going to be to your own detriment. So, I mean, I thank you for that message. I'm sure there's somebody out there who is going to not only hear that message, but receive it.
And again, thank you for letting me share that today.
Well, I'm honored that you chose this outlet to tell that. So where can people find this powerful book?
It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Smashwords. Anywhere you can buy a book, it's online. So, and then you can also go to my website, reneespivey.com, and you can order through the website, and then you can even order a signed copy directly from me. If you place the order online, I'll sign it and send it to you.
Wonderful. And for those who don't really want to do a whole lot of searching, we did post the link to your book on the on this video. So if you're watching this show live, you will be able to see the link to Once Broken. So get out there and order the book. Let's support this debut author, because I'm quite sure that there are other books inside of you. Is that correct?
There are. I'm actually thinking about the next one that I'm going to write now. I hope to be a contributor in a couple of anthologies, one that'll be released in 2018 and one that'll be in 2019. But then I also plan to write another standalone book as well.
Wonderful.
The thoughts are still going through my mind right now about what I want.
Well, it sounds like Renee Spivey, the author, is here to stay.
Renee Spivey, the author, is here to stay. I believe writing these books will be a part of my ministry. I'll be nonfiction. I'm not sure yet. But they'll be a part of my ministry. I started a ministry called We Are Women of Worth Ministries Inc. It's a 501 corporation, and it's dedicated to helping women like me, people who have been to prison or who may be homeless or whatever happened to them, that they're going through a rough time in their life, need a little help, whether they need to learn how to use a computer, how to dress for an interview, they need some life skills, anything that will help them, give them a hand up in life and better themselves. That's what the ministry is all about.
Wonderful. And if there's any way that Meet the World Image Solutions can support you, or even Rhonda Lawson can support you in your ministry, please do not hesitate to contact us. And I'm saying this here in this public setting. I want to let you know I'm telling the truth. I want to hear from you if you need me.
All right. Well, hey, you put it out there. So
I did.
Leave more requests from me really soon. Come the first of the year, I'm kicking off the ministry in high gear. It got started this year, and it's been kind of slow going because I've been with the writing and then working for my clients. But as of the last day of this month, I'm no longer doing the websites or graphic design. I want to focus fully on the ministry, which entails writing. So come the first of the year, you'll be hearing from me.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. And I wish you all the success in the world. I mean, God has truly blessed you this year, and he's created an outlet for you to impact a lot of people. And so I wish you the best in your ministry. Can I hear it again? I think it was called Women of Worth.
Women of Worth Ministry, INC. And the website is wearewomenofworth.org.
Wonderful.
I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, all the social media outlets you can find me online, the ministry.
Okay, wonderful. Everybody, I know you're listening because I see you. I see the numbers going up and down, so I know you're there. Go out and support this lady. Support this author because she is doing some positive things. There are people who can let certain situations define them negatively, but she chose to let this situation define her in the best way, the greatest way. And so let's get behind her, support her, and help her to reach even more people. So right now I want to thank you, Renee, for joining us tonight, and I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I thank you. Thank you again. Thank you to everybody out there. Hey, thank you. If you buy the book, and I appreciate that, tell somebody about the book, and just help, like Rhonda said, just continue to help us get the word out.
Amen. Well, thank you once again. You enjoy the rest of your evening. And we are going to go ahead and take a quick break. And when we get back, we have author Asmara, who is going to talk a little bit about her definition of love and relationships. It might be a little bit different. So we'll be right back in about 2 minutes.
Are you a member of Bedside Baptist? Well, now you can join Bethesda House of Prayer every Sunday for our live broadcast. It starts at approximately 9:45 every Sunday morning. Just go to NewOrleansNetwork.com and click play. We can't wait for you to join us from your home. And don't forget, if you want to join us live and in person, service.
How does a crawfish or shrimp etouffee sound? What about a piping hot cup of gumbo? Or a catfish platter with soft shell crawfish, catfish, livers, and pickles? And that's just for starters. What about entrees? If this is getting your mouth watering, then you need to come to the Praline Connection. Our down-home Cajun Creole-style restaurant has been providing soul food at affordable prices for over 20 years. And our pralines are delicious. We're a restaurant, a gift shop, and a candy shop, all in one. Bring your friends and enjoy an amazing meal today. Come see us at 542 Finchman Street in New Orleans, or check us out online at www.pralinconnection.com. You can also give us a call at 504-943-3934.
Y'all know me, this the people person here.
Big homie head.
It's your boy Fred.
And this man, a big fan.
Right. Listen, we're your host of the New Orleans Talk Network's Fan View. Real fans talk, real sports. Check us out every Thursday night, 6 p.m.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for and literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Move over. Am I good?
J. Asmara. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, Rhonda. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How are you this evening?
I'm awesome. I'm glad to be on your show. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, I'm glad to have you here. How are things at my old stomping grounds at Fort Stewart?
Cold, but good.
Girl, yes. It actually snows there. People think it doesn't snow in Georgia, but it does snow in Georgia.
Well, luckily we haven't gotten any snow because I'm not really with that.
Well, I am so excited to have J. Asmara on my show because not only is she a really cool person, I just met her a couple months ago when I went to the MVP Publications Awards. As many of you know, Horizons was nominated for an award for Best Literary Talk Show TV platform. And so I went out to Atlanta, even though the show did not win. It was our first time being nominated. We've only been on air for less than 6 months, so I was just happy to be nominated. But I was able to meet this really awesome young lady, and then kind of find out as we continue to talk that she is a active duty soldier.
Yes. Well, actually, I'm a reservist, but okay. I'm on active duty currently.
Well, there you go. You're active duty then.
Yes.
So how long have you been writing?
So officially, I've been published for a little over 3 years, but My writing goes back a little ways. I used to do poetry in high school. And from there, I started doing essays in college, but that was pretty much, I guess that was where my love was, and I didn't even know it because I was good at what I was doing. But it wasn't until, like I said, about 3 years ago that I actually got into writing novels, you know, and getting into the literary world as far as that.
So what attracted you to that world?
Oh my gosh. So funny story. My friend, Angela, I don't know if she's watching or not. It's great to have very supportive people in your circle. Sometimes the people that you have around you see talents that you don't see for yourself. And what happened was Angie, she was telling me, you need to write a book. You tell the best stories. You're so animated. You're awesome. Woo, woo, woo. You need to write a book. And I looked at her, my best friend for many years, and I'm like, you're stupid. I'm not writing a book. But she didn't let up. She continued to, you know, throw those little darts. Every time she had a minute, if I did something great, that's why you should write a book. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with writing a book. But she didn't let up. And finally, it took 6 years, but I finally sat down and I wrote my very first book, which was When It Rains. And I haven't stopped. And I thank her every chance I get. Because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have did it. All right. So.
Well, you know, sometimes it's good to listen to our friends. A little peer pressure works out sometimes, you think?
Well, in that instance, it did.
I think a little peer pressure helps.
Not so much.
In this case, it worked out for you.
Yes, it did.
So you mentioned When It Rains. Tell me a little bit about that series.
Okay, so When It Rains is about this lady named Rain Smith. She has a wonderful life. Handsome husband. She has a set of twins, a boy and a girl. Everything that a woman wants. Materialistic things, nice home, everything. But she has secrets.
Okay.
So her mom passes, and so she goes to her hometown, and her secrets start coming out the closet. So that's how the series opens up. And so in the first book, she sort of kind of gets away with it, you know, trying to keep everything from her husband because he doesn't know her past.
Right.
Book 2, Karma comes back with a vengeance. And book 3, just I tie up all the loose ends.
Okay. Okay. So it's a 3-part series. Is there going to be a 4th?
I've actually been to be a part of the series, but because Rain has been the crowd pleaser and everyone wants more of the story, I've actually considered doing a spin-off with the same characters.
Okay. Okay, so I won't exactly be a part of the Rain series. This could probably be a new series, or is it just going to be the one-off book?
As of right now, I'm thinking it's just going to be a standalone, but the way my mind works, there's no telling. I might come up with 3 more books behind it.
So you've been in this literary world for 3 years. And how many books do you have now?
I have 12 books published.
You've been a writing somebody, haven't you?
I'm telling you, once I realized that I enjoyed it, it was like a rush. I wanted to write. And, you know, once I put it out and got over the fear of what everyone would think, when I started getting the feedback, and, you know, everyone telling me they loved it, it was a real high. And so I was like, okay, let me keep writing. Okay, if they keep reading it, I'm going to keep writing. And so when you have people who are inboxing you and calling you like, hey, when's the next book coming out? You know, it motivates you to do that. And so I just wrote.
So where do you find time to write? Because if you're working all day, you have a family, I'm sure, and you have other things going on. How do you carve out time to write so you can get some quality writing time in?
Well, when I first started, like I said, it was exciting to me, and I was dedicated to it. So what I did was I put aside an hour a day. I have a 9-year-old, so he went to bed at 8:30. So when he went to bed, it was writing time. Yes. I turned my phone off. I put my headphones on. Everyone who was in my life at that time, they knew from 8:30 to 9:30, don't call her. She's writing. She's in the zone. So aside from that, I did well, I guess I can say it now because I'm not working there anymore. I wrote most of my first few books at work on the government's dime.
Oh, goodness. Okay, don't come get her. Don't come get her, y'all. She was just playing.
Well, I don't work there anymore. This is a different job, so I don't work there anymore. But when I had breaks, I had my notebook. I carry a notebook everywhere I go. So if I'm sitting somewhere longer than 5 minutes, I'm writing.
Yes.
So I would write in between, customers. When I would have my 15-minute breaks, I would write during lunch. And before you know it, it's done. So that's what I did. I was just determined to get the books written. And I didn't care what I had to do.
And that's the way you do it. I mean, as you know, I'm retired active duty, and I wound up having to do the same thing. When my daughter was younger, when she was like 3-4 years old, I did mommy time. But when the daughter went to bed, I went straight to my room and I started writing, and I would write until it was done. I mean, if that meant I had to sacrifice a little bit of sleep, I sacrificed a little bit of sleep because I needed to get my books done. And then on the weekends, my coworkers knew that I was probably running off to some book signing in a different city. So sometimes I would leave work and go straight to the airport, and I'd fly to another city and go do book signings there, going to Miami, going to Charlotte, going to all these different places, trying to promote the book. There were times I took my daughter with me to book signings, and she was telling people she wrote the book. But it worked. I mean, a few people bought the book. They knew she didn't write it, but they thought it was cute. So my daughter actually grew up in this literary industry with me. So I'm sure that your 9-year-old probably knows the pain of that.
Oh my goodness, he will sell you a book. If you sit there and he is selling you a book. He knows the characters. He's a little young to read them, of course, but he'd be like, oh, yeah, you need to get the one with rain. And I'm like, what do you know about it? But he'd be selling books. He went to school and told his teacher that she needs to buy a book.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Help get your kids to promote. Each one teach one. And a little child shall lead them, right?
Yes. Yes.
And nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. So, do you think that he may catch that writing bug himself?
Actually, he has started his own book.
Really?
He's been working on it for about a year, but I'm purposely not pushing him because I want him to do it on his time.
Yes.
So he has been writing.
Okay. So is he going to be under your publishing company?
Probably not. I want to separate, the grown-up stuff and probably
I got you. But you can have a children's line. Maybe that might be called something different.
Until they start searching, and then it'd be like, whoa, this is a little racy because I'm sure you've seen some of my covers are a little, they
yeah. You sent me one graphic. I'm like, I don't know if I should put that on the show. I'm not mad at you though. You got to do what you got to do. So, but with that said, tell me, what type of author do you think you are?
I think I'm a well-rounded one. I try not to put myself in a box as far as genre. I feel like when you're a writer, an author, you can write anything. Whatever story comes to my mind, I feel like I'm going to write it. And I don't ever want to have anyone say, okay, that, why, and so they're like turning up their nose because I don't want you to say, oh, she only writes this or she only writes that. No, she writes great stories. That's all I want people.
Where do you get the inspiration for your stories?
A little bit of real life. I'm not going to tell all of my secrets, but there's a little bit of real life. If it's maybe some of my friends, families, things that I've been told. And so I just kind of go through that. Like I told you, I never thought about writing.
Yes.
I've always been I love movies. So when I started writing, I took the books as movies. I'm like, okay, what do I like? Okay, I like action. I want something going on every time you turn. So that's how I attack it. So I might think of whatever, I can't even think. Maybe I might think of a topic that I want to write on, and then I'm like, what would make it a good story? What twists and turns can I put? Because like I said, as a movie person, I love the movies when I'm trying to figure out who did it, why they did it, and how it happened. So that's how I have my books, because if you go into one of my books and say, okay, I know what happened, you're going to be so wrong by the end, because I strategically put things to lead you the way that I want you to go.
All right.
So that when with that in your face twist, you're like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. And up until this point, I've been getting those reactions. So I'm going to keep on doing that.
Well, that's the way you do it. I'm never going to forget, years ago, I was doing a book signing, and Eric Jerome Dickey was also doing a signing. It was during the Essence Festival. Yes, I love him. He's a great guy, very, very friendly. And it was a few of us all signing books, and he was also signing books. And, he's not pressed. People are going to buy his stuff. So sometimes he will walk around and talk to the other authors, and then buy their books. He bought one of mine. I thought that was cool. But then he told me, yes. But he stood there and he told me, he said, the way you write a twist in a book is you tell them what's going to happen all throughout the book without them knowing that you told them. So that way, when you finally reveal that plot twist, everybody's like, oh, okay, now I see what happened. I remember this. I remember that. So, you're basically revealing that plot all throughout the book, but doing it in such a way to where you're not giving it away. And that really is what makes a great plot twist, when everything starts to make sense together.
I agree.
Yes. So I thought about that, and I try to use that whenever I'm writing my books. And I know I have not written in a while. I'm going to put it out there, because if I put it out there, people are going to hold me accountable. So I am going to write a new book in 2018. But right now, I'm just concentrating. I'm finished with the dissertation. I'm working on the business, getting a TV show going. But I will carve out some time to get a new book in, because I'm tired of people asking me, when am I going to write another book? I'm going to write another book.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, right now I'm just enjoying doing what I'm doing. I want to be able to promote awesome authors like yourself, because I remember, I wish social media were this popular back when I first started. I mean, I think what was popping back then was listservs. When you get 30 emails. See, you're looking at me crazy. You don't even know what a listserv is. Stop that.
No, not exactly.
Well, basically, a listserv is, you have this whole group of folks. It's kind of like a Facebook group, but it's with email. So you would send out an email, and then the 20 or 30 or 40 people in that listserv would all get that email. And that was how we communicated with each other. That's actually how I met a lot of authors, because we used to email each other. We didn't have Facebook back in those days. We didn't have YouTube and Instagram and all of that. We just emailed each other.
So what you're telling me, Rhonda, is after this, I need to get with you offline so I can get your email list, huh?
No, bro, I don't have that no more. I might, you know what? In fact, I think I have one remnant of a listserv that's still. I think there may be only like one or two authors who still use it, because I get the same email from these one or two authors. But we used to have all kinds of groups. I can't remember all of them. I think we had Black Writers Guild. We had Mocha Writers or something like that. But it was actually a group of authors. You laughing? This is like old school Facebook groups. Before Facebook was popping. Don't laugh at me, okay? I'm a little older than you.
Okay, I'm not gonna laugh anymore.
Stop it. Are you laughing now? But anyway, that was the way we used to pop back then. And that's actually how I became an author, because authors were very good about sharing information. And if they heard about a publishing company that was looking for new authors, or if there were reviewers out there who were looking for books to review, that's how we met each other. And a lot of the authors who I met, they're not writing as much anymore, but they're still out there. And so this is kind of my way of paying it forward. Just like people helped me back in the day, now I'm helping more authors to get publicity. So I hope that this helps you to get more publicity. And if anytime I can be of a service to you, that's what I want to do.
Well, I really appreciate it.
Of course, of course. So tell me, Miss J. Asmara, what's new? What's next for you?
Okay, so I'm currently working on a few things. As you said earlier, asking about my publishing company, I do have a publishing company, and I'm working on releasing one of my author's books in January. She's actually coming on your show next week, I believe.
Yes,
Rhonda.
and she's actually watching the show. She said,
yes,
yes, she said she loves the series, talking about the Rain series, and it is a must-have.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree, Brianna. Thank you.
Of course, you better agree. Okay, so yeah, Brianna Johnson will be on the show, and I am so looking forward to having her on the show because she, I mean, I've reached out to her and I've got to talk to her just briefly, but I can tell that she's a very bubbly personality, so I'm looking forward to getting to know her.
Yeah, she's awesome. So aside from that, I'm also working on a collaboration with one of my best friends, which is cool. You met Michelle at the awards show. So we're working on, I don't know if we can bring that one on your show. It's kind of steamy. It's the erotic.
Well, you know what? We will bring her on the show. We're going to have a show just for the steamy.
Okay. All right.
It'll be for the grown folks only.
Hey, you got to have to put that disclaimer on it. Proceed with caution.
We'll call it Horizons After Dark or something like that.
There you go. So yeah, so I'm working on that as far as the writing aspect, and we have it set to be out in February. Aside from that, I have a list of projects that I have set for 2018. So let's see how that works, because I do have a pretty busy life.
I see you. I mean, you're a soldier, you're a mother, you're an author, you're a publisher. Any other hat that I missed?
Not really. Just it's hard, and it's one of the things that kind of sucks, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate. When you're good at so many things, it's a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing because you're like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. And then when you realize that you're sleep deprived, you're like, what was I thinking?
Yes.
So
yes, you've said a word right there. Trust me, I understand. But no, you're doing great things.
I'm plotting on sleep right now. So I'm just going.
Well, don't worry. The interview will be over in a few minutes, and then you can go ahead and take a nap.
I'm enjoying this. I like talking. This is cool.
Well, good.
We can talk books all night.
So hilarious. So, I don't know if my producer is back in the studio. He stepped away for a second, but we do have that graphic that I was telling about with all of your book covers. So I wanted to go ahead and show it to the audience. Okay. There it is. So these are the books under that J. Asmara has for sale. And where can we find these books?
Okay, I have an Amazon author page. So they're on Amazon. They're on BarnesandNoble.com. The majority of them are also on iBooks. And aside from those avenues, I have my own personal website where you can purchase books.
And what's the website?
Right now, it's authorjasmara.com.
And that's JASMARA.
Yes, .com. And